Hey guys, welcome to this video. I just wanted to sit down and talk really quick about if you've been accepted into a nursing program and you're not really sure what to do next, or you're just not sure what to expect, this video is for you. I've written down a couple of things to talk about, so hopefully there's a little bit of organization to this video, and we'll go ahead and get started. So before I start talking about the actual steps that are gonna happen and what you're gonna need to do between getting accepted to actually starting your program, I did want to talk about two kind of organizational things really quick. When I applied to my nursing program, applications were due October 1st. I applied mid-September. It was about 3 weeks after we applied to our program before we got results back, and then I haven't actually started my program. I start January 7th, but I was under the impression that once I got accepted, hopefully, if I got accepted, that I was just going to be kind of hanging out for a few months until my program started, and I could not have been more wrong. So this is my planner, which if you don't use a planner already, I highly recommend you start now. I'm sure most of you already use a planner, but like I said, I have not actually started my program yet, and this was my to-do list for this month. So there's quite a bit of stuff in here that I was just completely not prepared for or not expecting. The second thing I recommend you doing once you get accepted into your program is getting some sort of file folder or binder. You're going to be getting a lot of papers, you're going to be filling out a lot of papers, you're going to be sending in a lot of paperwork, your immunizations, driver's license, all that stuff we'll talk about in just a second. And it's just nice to have kind of a centralized location where you're not having to rummage through papers and your papers aren't getting crumpled. You want to be a little bit professional going into nursing school, and something like this really helps out. So when I got accepted into my program, I was told I was going to get an email in about a week with all of my admissions paperwork to fill out, as well as kind of like a to-do list of items I needed to complete before I started my program. So that's the very first step that's going to happen. You're either going to get an email or some sort of packet in the mail just letting you know what they need from you, what you need to do, and any papers you need to fill out. One of the first things on that to-do list for me was a basic life support card. So I actually already had my basic life support card through the American Red Cross, and my program wanted it through the American Heart Association, so I had to go get a new card through the American Heart Association. If you've never had a BLS card or a basic life support card, it's essentially like CPR for healthcare providers. So I want to say my class was like a 4 or 5 hour class, and I got my certification that day. It was pretty easy. The next thing that your school is going to want from you is some sort of health insurance card or verification of health insurance. So if you already have health insurance either through your current job or your parents or a spouse or whoever, that works totally great. You can go ahead and send that in. If you don't already have health insurance, you will need to get one before you start your program. They just want to make sure that if something were to happen in clinicals that you're covered. So if you don't already have health insurance, there is student health insurance available. It's usually at a lower or discounted rate that works just fine. So you will also need to have a TB test done, either a one-step TB test, or my school actually required a 2-step TB test. If you've never gotten a TB test before, don't worry, it's not anything crazy. You'll go into either your doctor's office or a clinic, or your school nurse might even do it for you, and they'll make a small bump with the TB test injection, a small white raised bump, and then they'll send you home. You'll come back 48 to 72 hours later, and if nothing's happened to the site that they injected you at, you're fine. If you do have some sort of reaction, they'll go into further testing, but that's just your one-step TB test. Your 2-step TB test is the exact same thing. You'll do your test, you'll read it 48 to 72 hours later, and then you're going to have a waiting window between 1 and 3 weeks, and then at that end of that window, you'll come do it again. So you'll get another injection, wait another 48 to 72 hours, have it read again. So hold on to all that paperwork. That's, again, when this file folder is going to come in handy, because it kind of collects it all, because your school's going to want record that you did that TB test. So after you've had all of your TB tests completed, you're going to need a flu shot. I can't tell you a single hospital or clinic that's not going to want to see some sort of flu shot from you. I'd be careful though and do your flu shot after your TB tests, because a lot of TB test facilities won't do your TB test if you've had any sort of vaccine within the last month, because it can sometimes give you like a false positive on your test. So once your TB test is done, then worry about your flu shot. After that TB test and flu shot is done, you're going to set up an appointment with your school nurse. At least my program did. If you're not setting up an appointment with a nurse, you might be going to a physical or something where you're actually sitting down with somebody, going over your immunization history. They're going to make sure that your hepatitis A is done, your hepatitis B is done, your MMR, chickenpox vaccines. If any of those vaccines are incomplete or have never been done, you're either going to need to start that, but if you haven't finished your Hep A or Hep B series, there might not be enough time before you start your program to get that done. So make sure that all your immunizations are all taken care of so you don't have to worry about not being able to start your program because of shots. At my school nurse appointment, that's when this file folder really came in handy, because I could just hand this folder to her, the tab that I needed, and she could scan in whatever she needed. I didn't have to look through a bunch of paperwork, and it was really helpful to her as well, because she said that it didn't, my appointment went really quick with her because I wasn't looking for papers. I had all of them ready, all of them signed, all of them filled out, and it made her job a lot easier as well as mine going in. So at that appointment with the school nurse, you will get fit for some sort of respirator. My school, they had a few different lined out on the counter. You would put the respirator mask on your face, and which is it's just a more form-fitting mask. Looks like a surgical mask, but they're more form-fitting. And then they put a hood over your head and sprayed a spray. And they said if you tasted or smell anything that was bitter or sour or even sweet, I guess it depends on the person how it tastes to you, it meant that your mask was not a good seal around your face, and they put another mask on you to try. And that's important because if you have any patients in clinicals or once you're on the floor as a nurse that are under droplet isolation, you're going to want a mask like that to protect you from getting sick as well. So that respirator fit test is really important, so you know which mask to grab, because one mask might not work for everybody just based on like the size of your head and size of your face. So you'll do that respirator fit test then. Your school's also going to want a fingerprinting or some sort of background check done. This is a big one because it's a big disqualifier for people. If anything pops up on your background check, your school can revoke your acceptance into the program. So I got an email along with all of my paperwork where I just set up an appointment with a company. It took maybe 2 minutes. I just did all my fingerprints with this lady, and then maybe 2 to 3 weeks later, I got a postcard in the mail saying I had FBI blue clearance, which I'm not really sure what that means, but that's what we needed for the programs. Along with your background check, you're also going to have to do a drug test. Your program wants to make sure that you're coming into the program clean without anything that they have to worry about. You're working, with patients where their life depends on you. You're working with narcotics. You're working with all sorts of stuff, and they just want to make sure that they don't have to worry about you. So your drug test and your background check, those are two big ones that can have your acceptance into a program revoked. So make sure you're good on those before you go. Your school will also have you do some sort of online orientation. So when I was in college, my college used Blackboard. I think most schools do, but my nursing program uses a program called Moodle, which is pretty similar, but I had to do like online training videos and do a couple different tasks, basically to prove that I knew how to upload assignments, I knew where to check my grades, I knew how to get to the discussion post, all of that kind of stuff. They had to make sure I knew how to access my email through the program, and basically I knew how to use all of the school's platforms. So after I completed those, I just downloaded certificates and I sent all of that in to my advisor, just as I had sent in my basic life support card, my health insurance card, my background check, all of that. So along with an online orientation, your school is also going to have you go to an in-person orientation, and this is usually the more fun task in getting accepted into nursing school, because at this in-person interview, you're going to be meeting your other cohorts in your nursing program, your nursing cohort. You're going to be getting your uniform. You're going to be learning a little bit more about your day-to-day, what you should expect day-to-day in the program, as well as clinicals. You'll get parking information. At that point, you can meet with financial aid if you need to. You can meet with your advisor, get all of your FAFSA stuff done there. So that's a really important day, but it's also kind of a fun day because that's like you're really diving into the program now. So I know I've covered a lot of information in this video. It's an exhausting process in real life. If this video has been exhausting, I'm out of breath. But I do have one more step / recommendation, kind of 2 steps, but we'll lump it into one. And that's just celebrate. Nursing school is hard to get into. You've put in the time, you've put in the stress already, and I think that so many people forget to celebrate once they're in. You know, there's the stress and worrying about passing tests and getting good grades and getting your GPA up and maintaining your GPA, and then the stress of applying and then waiting, and then once you're here, you immediately go into like, okay, now I need to start my program. But don't forget to celebrate, because this is such a big accomplishment that you've done. Not everyone can get into nursing school, and nursing is not for everyone. So the fact that you're standing here and you're ready to go into your program and you're being proactive is, you know, that says a lot about you. So celebrate what you've done. You've done such an accomplishment. Along with that, this is the time to get your self-care in check. So learn what works best for you. If you need to learn how to do yoga, if you need to learn how to meditate, if you need to set aside one night a week to take a relaxing candlelit bath, go ahead and do that now, so you're not having to worry about it once you're already into your program. You know, nursing school is stressful, and you want to go in as the best version of you. So go ahead and take care of yourself now. Make sure your mental health is in check. Do whatever you need to do. Go take a vacation, travel, visit friends and family, because you are about to go into a whirlwind of a program and an experience. So celebrate and take care of yourself now. If there was anything I didn't cover, or you have any questions about applying to nursing school or what to do once you're accepted, please send me a message. Let me know. I'd be happy to answer any questions. This is a really exciting experience. I can't wait to start my journey, and I hope you're excited to start yours as well. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.